Hare Krishna. When you get into things, know how to get out. In the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Duryodhana assesses the strengths of the two assembled armies. And in that, he mentions Subhadra's son Abhimanyu. In the sixth text, Yudhamanyuscha Vikranta Uttamaujascha Viryavan Saubhadro Dopadeyascha Sarva Eva Maharathaha. Saubhadro. So the son of Subhadra is Saubhadro is Abhimanyu. Now, although Abhimanyu was just 16 years old at that time, he had actually made a big name for himself. He had become a celebrated warrior. And thus it is that Duryodhana mentions his name. Now, Abhimanyu fights many heroic battles during the course of the Mahabharata war. And the most spectacular, unfortunately the most tragic foray that he makes into the Kaura army is on the 13th day, when he fights against the Kauravas, and when he enters into the Chakravyuha, which has been formed specifically by Drona to try to trap Yudhishthir. And Yudhishthir assures Abhimanyu, because nobody else is available on the Pandava side who knows how to penetrate the Chakravyuha. Yudhishthir assures Abhimanyu, as do the other warriors, that if he can just break the Chakravyuha, then the other warriors will follow him inside, and they will break that formation from inside. But the problem happens that after he enters the Chakravyuha, Jayadratha blocks him, and then he fights ferociously. But after he's exhausted, 6 warriors attack him unfairly, simultaneously, brutally, and he falls. So now Abhimanyu's entering into Chakravyuha was not rash. It was well thought out, and it was done under the instruction of Yudhishthir. And it was also with a proper plan, that the other warriors would follow him, and then they would be able to not only protect him, but they would actually break the formation from within. Now the problem was that they had not anticipated, they had not known that Jayadratha had a special benediction by which he could stop all the 4 Pandavas alone. Jayadratha was not such a formidable warrior, but because of a benediction from Shiva, he was able to do that. So the point is, Abhimanyu had thoughtfully, under instruction, entered into the Chakravyuha, but somehow he got trapped. Now, in our life, what we can learn a lesson from this situation is that when we get into things, we have to be careful. Sometimes, because we live in a materialistic culture where more is equated with better, we often feel goaded to do more and more and more things. And not only that, we are goaded externally to do more and more, to accomplish more and more. Internally also, our minds goad us to do more and more. And if we're not careful, then we may find when hundreds of things, dozens and dozens of things to do start targeting us, start shooting arrows at us, we may find ourselves trapped in a Chakravyuha of our own making. To get out of this Chakravyuha, to prevent getting into this Chakravyuha of our own making, we need to have an exit plan. We of course have certain basic responsibilities and obligations that we need to do, and we may be inspired to do more, and sometimes doing more is good for us because it increases our capacity, it brings out talents that we did not know that we had. But sometimes when we take up more, it may just be too much, and at that time we should have an exit plan. We should have a means by which we can have a responsible transfer of responsibility. So when we get into things, we need to know also how to get out of things. Thank you. Hare Krishna.